Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sierra, and today I want to make a keychain for my granddaughter. We will be using the letter C. I picked this mold because, well, my granddaughter actually picked the mold. She liked the way the letters looked. I like this mold, but there's one thing I didn't like about the mold is it had the little, what do you call it, the little peg in there, so you can loop a jump ring around or whatever. I don't like using those kind of molds because I struggle finding a jump ring that will fit through something really big. I mean, you can get the real big jump rings. I rather drill my own holes, but this is a good mold if you aren't comfortable drilling into your finished pieces or what have you. So I'm going to show you what I'm using to create this. Obviously my silicone mold. I'm going to be using Bond Crafter UV resin. I have my Resin's double-sided UV light. I'm going to be using my UV torch. I have some Let's Resin. This is the violet, the opaque pigment, resin pigment. So I'm going to use that. A little silicone cup, something to stir it with. For the little bits that's going to go in the alphabet, I have some sequins, some pink and purple violet sequins, some seed beads. I have some clear and pink and purple seed beads and some flowers. I'm not sure if I'm going to make this into a bracelet or something just for her to hold on to. So if I do, I will include what I'm using there. But this is the keychain that I'm using. It is a split ring. And I have this, I just got them yesterday. They're 16 millimeter split rings. I'll be using one of those. So let's get to putting some resin down. I'll mix the color up in a minute. So I want to talk to you briefly about safety precautions whenever you're using UV resin or epoxy resin. What I do is I have a ventilated room. I have a fan going. I have 2 air purifiers going, one to my right, one to my left. The one to my left is the Resin's air purifier. I really like that one. It lets me know what the humidity and the temperature of my room is, which is really important when working with epoxy resin. But most importantly, it will let me know the fans, the speed of the fans will pick up, the air intake will increase, and the lights will go from green, meaning good air quality, yellow, orange, and red. Red meaning that the air quality is very questionable. I will say that when we had the smoke coming down from Canada, we were one of the communities that was hit pretty hard with the smoke here in Michigan. And I had taken one of my air purifiers, the one on my right, I had taken that one downstairs. It's a fairly large air purifier, and I let that one go for the downstairs portion of our home. And I let the Resin's air purifier, I left that one going, and I had them on high the whole time. I did notice that the Resin's air purifier, the lights were red the whole time. So I haven't been doing any crafting or anything like that. I figured that it would be too much. So everything has calmed down. So I'm back in my craft room and the lights are green and everything's good to go. Also, when working with UV resin, I also like to wear these whenever I turn on the UV light. Prolonged exposure to UV light can damage your eyes. Very important to protect your lungs and your eyes. And I also wear nitrile gloves, protects my skin. You do not want to contract contact dermatitis. I've seen people who have that, and it's not fun. My granddaughter has that with certain gel nail polishes. It is not pleasant. So I always want to protect your skin. We're going to work with the letter C. So I'm going to move that over just a little bit. There we go. I'm going to put down just a little bit of clear UV resin. So I want to put some flowers down, but I don't want the flowers to be sitting directly onto the mold. So I'm going to put some down. I get my silicone tool. I will try to have everything that I'm using linked in the description box. Now I'm just moving this resin to cover the bottom. If you notice the resin is separating from the silicone, you'll know what I'm talking about when you start playing with this. You don't have enough resin down. So I can see, looking up in my camera, I'm going to get my head over this. I'm going to pick out any bubbles that I see. Got me a piece of paper towel. Okay, I'm going to put this under the big light, and I'm going to cure it for 2 minutes. So now I want to start adding some flowers and some of these. I got the sequins out for a little bling. Because rhinestones, you lose the sparkle from rhinestones. Like if you have an AB cut rhinestone and you stick it in your project, and you, whether it's UV resin or epoxy resin, and you cover it up with resin, the sparkle goes away. So what I did here is I put a little bit of UV resin in my silicone cup, and now I'm going to get some of these. And what I want to do is I want to dunk some of these flowers in the resin. I want to get them wet. And this is a reverse mold. So when you put your flowers in or anything, you got to put them face down. I put some UV resin down already in the mold. All right, let's get some sequins in there. I found my sequins. I was changing out my storage for my rhinestones. So I have a lot of rhinestones, and the way I had them stored, it wasn't very, I was constantly digging for my rhinestones. And I noticed, I don't know if I want to do that like that, might as well. And I noticed that my sequins were in a really cool container. And I was like, that's what I want to put my rhinestones in. So I pulled all my sequins out because I don't use my sequins as much as I do my rhinestones. So I just put all my sequins in a little bag, this little baggies by color. I put them in a drawer. So now I want to get some white flowers. And if you're interested in what I'm using to store my sequins in, let me know. Now, I haven't tried sequins in resin, but I can't imagine that they'll lose their sparkle. They might. We'll find out together. I made some Spanish rice for the first time today. My husband is Mexican, and he grew up on Spanish rice and Mexican food, Spanish food and all that. And I always was afraid of making any kind of Spanish food. My mother-in-law is a fantastic cook. And, well, today I made my very own Spanish rice, and it turned out fantastic. what I'm going to do is I'm going to cure this in my light for 2 minutes. What you want to do is you want to make sure that you're allowing your pieces to fully cool down after putting it in the UV light, because they can get extremely hot. So I'm going to clean off my tweezers before I turn on any lights. Put my glasses on. We cure this for 2 minutes, and then I will be back. I'm going to take a clear UV resin, and I'm going to put a thin coat on top of those flowers. Leaving some room in the mold for the color. I don't want to fill the mold all the way up. And I decided to go with the pink, opaque pink, instead of doing the violet. So I'm going to spread this down and around. Okay, I've got a silicone cup. I'm going to get some, trying to keep this center for you guys. Get some UV resin. I'm going to make enough because I'm probably going to end up sanding this down and doing a little back coating it. You just really got to make sure that this stuff is mixed up really good, because a lot of the pigment sits down in the bottom of the bottle. I'm just going to add 2 little drops. Add more if I need it. About this little thing here. You want to mix it until it's not streaky. Yeah, I'm going to add another drop. Even though I still see streaks, I want it a little bit darker. Not too dark. You still want the light to be able to penetrate through the resin. You don't want it too opaque, too dark. Then I'm going to start pouring this in. Don't want a thick layer of this. Don't want to accidentally overfill it, so I'm gonna get this out. You'd be surprised how effective 1 or 2 little drops of resin could be. Okay, I'm gonna take my UV torch. I'm gonna cure just a little bit right now, so when I pick it up, it doesn't spill out. And I'm gonna cure that for a good 2 minutes, and I'll be right back. Okay, it's still really warm, but I did cool it. Did let it cool down for a couple minutes. I can tell that it's going to need to be sanded. I like when I run my finger that's really smooth. So let's bring you guys back in. I don't know why I took it out. See how you can see the needs to be sanded. Let's turn around and see what we got. It is so pretty. And the sequins did not lose their sparkle at all in there. It looks really pretty. I'm going to put another coat. That's why I have my resin sitting right there. I'm going to sand this really good. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my wet dry sandpaper 320 grit. You want to wet this because you don't want the powder to be floating up. And then once I get it sanded, I will be back and show you the next step. Okay, there it is, sanded. Looks good. Now I want to put my, what is this called? Eye screws. These eye screws, no, these are jump rings. Eye screws. And we're going with silver. Okay, and I'm going to use my Resiner's little hand drill. Take you guys out a little bit. I like getting a piece of painter's tape. That's what I like to do. And it keeps it from skipping. I'm going to make a little dot. I usually use a marker. Let me find a marker. I don't know why I feel like I'm in a rush. But you guys aren't rushing me, are you? No. There. Like that. So I'm going to get some of this bonding UV resin, a silicone matte. Put some on there. Don't need a lot of this. I'm going to put some of this inside the hole. I don't know how far down I went. Pretty far. I don't want a big air bubble in there. I'm going to dip this in there like so, and I'm going to place it in the hole and give it a nice turn. I'm going to get my UV torch out. I'm going to cure it. This stuff cures like really quick. I'll put some around the base of this just to make sure that it's in there. You can always use super glue or E6000. If this comes out, I'll replace it with some E6000. I don't see that happening though. So that's what we have. And I'm probably going to stick this in my light for good measure for 1 minute before we go any further. So I'll be back in 1 minute. Okay, I have a stick here and I have some double-sided tape on there. I'll stick this down this way. Gives me a little handle. Then I got my UV resin. Haven't decided how I want to do this yet. If I want to use this or a paintbrush. I think a paintbrush will go faster. And I'll be able to control it a little bit better, but we'll see. If you do use a paintbrush, the way I clean it is I get a little cup. I already have one sitting to the side here with 99% isopropyl alcohol, and that's how I clean the resin off my brush. And I've been using the same brush for years. You just have to remember not to let it get exposed to any UV light. UV light and it is destroyed. So I'm going to do this really quick and then I'm going to cure it for 2 minutes and then I'll be back. Okay, there's that. And now I'm going to take it off my tape. Like that. I did cure it for a total of 3 minutes. So what I want to do I have some resin in a container here. It's just UV resin. Okay, I did get some better clips. They're just clothespins. I'll have those linked if you're interested. I don't know how well they will hold, but it's got to be better than those Dollar Tree ones. And they do, thank goodness. Whew. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to dip it in the UV resin. Get this little stick here. I don't want to get it in the hole of the eye hook, the eye, with that, the clip, the part that I'm going to hang it with. I do know I want to turn it my way so I can see this side. And you just want to let it drain off. I might do a double dip. I really like dipping my pieces, but the secret is letting the resin, because I'm using just a regular UV resin. I don't know what the difference between this and dipping resin, because I do have a resin that is designed specifically for dipping. I don't know what the difference would be. I've always ever done it like this. So I just make sure everything stops dripping. And once it stops dripping, you want to move your UV resin out of the way of your UV light. You want to start twirling this so it doesn't pool. And you want to stick it in your UV light. And because this is a lot of resin, I'm going to twirl it for a good minute under the UV light. And then I'm going to let it continue curing for a full 2 minutes. And then I'm going to do one more cure in my water. So if you're interested in what the water is, stick around, I'll explain it. And I am going to turn this into a bracelet. Okay, now that that had a chance to cure like that, I got my plastic jug here. It's a clear jug. It's just got tap water in it. It's room temperature tap water. I'm going to take this, stick it in like that, and I'm going to cure this in my UV light for 2 minutes, for 5 minutes. Isn't that pretty? I like how those sequins really sparkle. And then that's the back. I did not double dip this. I did a one dip. So there's that. So here is my keychain bracelet for my granddaughter. Doesn't that turn out so pretty? There's the back. I think it turned out really nice. And I wanted her key to be away from the rest of the bracelet. I mean, she doesn't really have to put it on her wrist or anything like that. She can carry it like this, clip it to her book bag, but I did want her key to be separate from the rest. It is a keychain after all. So I hope she likes it. I hope you like it. If you do, let me know in the comments. And until next time, y'all have a great day and God bless. Bye.